Well, the Manchester United manager, Erik ten Hag, has gone ahead to hold a press conference that saw him really talk a lot of things. Garnacho, Antony, Scott McTominay, Eriksson, and very many others. The impact of young players to the club of Manchester United, that was really part of the things that really said about in the press conference. So smash the like button, comment and share. And I would like to call in your notions or ideas as far as this game of football is concerned, because there is a very hot topic to talk about in these. He talked about the European Super League return. He has his thoughts about it. And Rokan David is my name. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. He has gone ahead to describe Garnacho as a threat, and he's so much convinced that he's going to get the job done and dusted. Adebare Opeyemi, thank you for watching in from Dubai, and I think you're the first person to come up into the comment section, and thank you for always being a regular onto this channel known as United Matters channel. Now, let's start off with what Ten Hag really said first in this press conference. He was asked about whether there is any fresh injuries or any returnees that we expect to see at Manchester United, and he said Anton Martial, Antony, and Scott McTominay's availability for Leeds and Barcelona games. We have some days, obviously, but I don't expect it. I think same answer for Barcelona. I can't say 100%, but I don't expect it. So he doesn't expect either. He doesn't expect neither Martial, Scott McTominay, or Antony to have returned early enough for the Barcelona game. And these injuries are really haunting us, because when you look at how we played on the right side of the midfield, especially on the right attacking side against Leeds, we all missed Antony, because you know how much Antony tracks back, you know how much Antony has really turned into a direct player. And this is another injury for Antony that is seeing him out for very many games. Remember, he got his first injury after playing that UEFA Europa League game when he did a showboat or a 360 spin twice, and he never returned until he went and played for the World Cup. Then he was out again. I think this is his third injury ever since he came to Manchester United. And we might find out him being an injury-prone player, by the way, because he has been out for 3 times. Martial, Varane, and Antony are the most players of Manchester United I've seen. Antony, when you look at Antony Santos, let me see this season, how many games has he played? Antony Santos has played 12 Premier League games, meaning that he has missed out on 10 Premier League games. Then 4 Carabao Cup games, 5 UEFA Europa League games, and some FA Cup games. We've played close to 34 games, meaning that he has missed out on close to 20 games. Sorry, 10 games for Manchester United. So it shows you how it's really panning out for a player known as Antony. And for Anton Martial, it's really tough. And however much I love him, I think time has come for me to call it quits with him, because this is the 6th time he's getting an injury, and this time it's a hip injury. It's not the usual injury that he really gets. So we can't really reckon with him. We can't really side with him. We can't see him available, and I think he's costing us season. Why? When we are playing with him, we play better, and when he's out, we play ugly at the club of Manchester. So I think we should find solutions. And what's the solution? Summer, getting a striker that can get it all done and dusted at Manchester United, and see where everything is going to go on and really go to. Then Adebare Opeyemi said, what is the problem of Antony? The manager told us that Antony has a leg problem. He has a leg problem. That's why he is out ever since we played a team known as Crystal Palace. Was it as a result of him being thrown to the billboards? We don't know, but if I thought it was the case, then the manager would have come out and really told us that that was the case. But he's telling us that Antony, Scott McTominay, and Anton Martial are out. But the positivity that most people have not yet hinted about is that Bissaka has not been mentioned amongst the players who are really injured, meaning that he is a variable. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a variable. I know there is a group of people here at the United Matters channel who have always come in through and called for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to come in and start ahead of Dalot. And let's wait and see the choice that the manager is going to make between Dalot and Bissaka, because it looks like Bissaka is back and he's fully fit to see to it that he really starts into that game against Leeds. But let's wait and see what is going to happen, because it's going to be a very hard game away at Leeds. That is what Ten Hag really said about the injuries that are really happening at Manchester United. But the long injuries, there is that of Eriksen. He's out until late April, 3 months out. Then for Danny Van Beek, his season has been ruled out and he will only return. He will only return when we are into the preseason. Then after that, Ten Hag talked about how tough the season is that we are into. He said it's a tough season with the World Cup in between and a lot of overloads from the players. That's quite clear. The process already longer term on that the load on the players is too much. So he was talking about what is really causing these injuries, that we are having very many games played. Remember, by the time we went to the World Cup, we are playing 2 games twice. Midweek, weekend. Midweek, weekend. In the weekend, Premier League. Midweek, UEFA Europa League. Then Carabao Cup came into play towards the beginning of the World Cup break. So it shows you that we are playing very many games that really never enabled that never enabled our players to come in through and really get enough rest. And that's why these injuries are really too much and recurring. So that's another term. That's another thing that Ten Hag really went ahead to talk about. And it's right, because when you see how we are really being affected by injuries, it's really ridiculous. And it's something that you wouldn't like to see your team going through. And that is what Ten Hag really said. Now, Ten Hag came out and really hinted about young players. And I think this came into play because of Garnacho's misses that he really had when you're playing Leeds. Then Kobbie Mainoo giving him a new contract. And I think this question came in at the very right time. And the manager had a very perfect answer for the journalists. He told them that on working with young players, that makes this job so exciting. It's wonderful to work with young people and get the best out of them. So Ten Hag is 100% committed to work with young players and get the best out of them. He's soliciting the players he believes that can really make a good contribution to our season or next season from the academy. And you've seen his picks: Zidane Iqbo, Alejandro Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo. Those are so far the 3 players that he believes can really make it to the match squad. And they've always made with the match squad. Kobbie Mainoo made his debut against Charlton. Then Zidane Iqbo has not yet made his debut. And lastly, it's Alejandro Garnacho, who has been playing very many games, scoring against Villarreal, scoring against Fulham, and obviously putting in a couple of assists. And if I told you he was really clinical, he would have gone ahead not to miss out on very many goals, because goals were there for him to score, but he didn't really go ahead and really take them on. Chances have been given to him, and I think he just deserves to be more clinical. Then he said about young players again that finally, young players have to do it by themselves, but often they need motivation. They need a push. Sometimes they need an interjection and also inspiration of a plan. So he's giving us a snippet of what he believes young players should be in for to thrive at Manchester United. Reason being, very many have come in through and they failed to break through the standards. You get? On account of their results. So Ten Hag is urging them that they're supposed to do it by themselves. He's not the one who is supposed to force them into the team. They're the ones who should really convince him that I'm ready to start to play in the first team of Manchester United. And that's what Ten Hag is all about. And he's taking this step by step. When you look at how Kobbie Mainoo is coming in through, that shows you that he has him in his plans, that this one has showed me that can really go ahead and really be part of the Manchester United team. Garnacho I think for him, the plan is clear that he's one of those that has really broken through this season. And we never know. Next season, he might be having others who are really going to come in through and really embrace to play for Manchester United more and more and more. So after that, he went about the Alejandro Garnacho situation at Manchester United. I know some people were really annoyed about his performances, but the manager is really so much positive and he holds a lot of belief in the player, the 18-year-old Argentine international. He told us about Garnacho that I think he's doing well. He has an impact on our game. I think he's a threat. Against Leeds, he had good actions, was lively, created chances, but had to score. And finally, it's about that you have an effort. So it shows you how much Ten Hag believes in Alejandro Garnacho. He's doing well, that's it. At the age of 18, going into those spaces, taking off players without fear, it just puts you in a situation of knowing that you are the right man in the right position. And I know most people are really pissed about him, but trust me, he's a threat and he's an impactful player. There is a clique of people, especially viewers of United Matters channel, who think that he should be coming on as a substitute always. That's it. But we all know Ten Hag, that he comes from Ajax, where he believes that he doesn't pick players on the previous match. He picks players according to their form in training. You see how Anthony Elanga has dropped off from the starting positions, because at the start of the season, it was Anthony Elanga who was getting more starts than Alejandro Garnacho. Now, Garnacho is getting more starts than Anthony Elanga, and Anthony Elanga has really fallen like third or fourth fiddle, because even Facundo Pelestri has come on and really overtook. He has taken over him. That's it. And as things stand, it's really Garnacho topping that list of the Young Talents Academy to start. So he has really worked for it. He's talented. He needs the backing of the manager. He needs to continue putting an effort. And secondly, the fans of Manchester United should know that this is how young players are nurtured. Few players will come in like Marcus Rashford. Few players will come in like Greenwood, because Greenwood was a generational talent and he couldn't miss out on sitters that Garnacho is missing. At the age of 17, he was already playing. For Rashford, at the age of 17, 16, he had made his debut for Manchester United, and on his debut scored a brace. The next weekend, I think we played on Thursday, and on Sunday we are playing Arsenal. He scored a brace against Arsenal, and next weekend he scored against City. That is a different breed of players. And I believe that Garnacho is really having low self-esteem for now, and that's what Ten Hag is really working on, to really build it and really explode in him, and then he's going to be a player who's really going to be deadly, because the best important thing for him is that he runs or finds himself in better positions to score goals. He sits down the goalkeepers, he sits down defenders, but his target on goal is really still a problem to him. And I think that is the least thing that Ten Hag is going to go ahead and really work on. And I believe by the end of the season, Garnacho is going to be a well-finished article. Next season might be one of his biggest seasons at Manchester United, because if he had been scoring those chances that he's been getting this season, he would have even reached close to 10 goals this season. So it shows you that if he goes ahead and becomes clinical, he can even score 20 goals a season. And you know what it means having an 18-year-old player like Garnacho scoring 18, 20 goals a season and putting in assists, because he already has like 5 or 6 assists onto him this season. But he needs to increase the number of goals that he scores, because that's the order of the day in the modern game. If I told you a forward, even if you're playing wide, goals will be called for you to score. And that really makes you more and more and more sounding in this game. Then he said on Garnacho that he's quite emotional. That is his strength. He's bringing in the game. He wants to win, to play football, and he doesn't want to miss any minute. And I think that's a good thing. He's totally convinced about him. That's a good thing. So Ten Hag is totally convinced about Alejandro Garnacho, and his abilities, his strength is really one of those that really keeps him, putting him in that field of play, because every time he doesn't do something great, he looks out for a better option, and corrections are really part of his day-to-day duties, because he thinks he's working to become a better player day in, day out. That is Alejandro Garnacho for you, and the manager was talking about him. Then about being subbed, the manager threw into the following, that being subbed Garnacho the last two games, they said he accepts decisions. The team is always above everything. And I think he knows that when he's coming off, that emotion, that frustration is not against that he's not accepting it. So every player doesn't want to get off the field of play. That's it. And that rage and anger that grows in him really helps him to go ahead and do the needful for the club. So Ten Hag is hinting about a team being above everything. So players should be knowing that he's the gaffer. When he makes a decision, it's helping the team and it's not selfish. So that's why he goes ahead and really makes in such decisions of taking players off from the pitch and really rest them. Then Ten Hag said, I think the players have to be brave to try if it's in the interest of the team. That is what Garnacho is doing quite well, because he is taking players on and is outplaying them. He's creating chances. From yesterday, he should have scored. So he's impressed of how direct this player is. And I think no one isn't excited about Garnacho, because you don't know how many people he takes off their seats when he gets that ball. I think just decision-making of Garnacho is his problem, and that will come to pass when the manager really goes ahead to throw in lots of things for the player like Garnacho. So I don't expect lots of things to hinder the development of Garnacho. He has a stage to expose himself as one of the best talents in the world in his age. The blessing is he's having a manager that knows how to handle young talent. So him missing out on those goals, it should be something to drive him to the next game, knowing that the best way to silence all this is me to put in assists, go for the quick balls, decide quickly. And obviously, if at all I get a chance like that, I concentrate, I take an eye on who is better placed, pass the ball either to him or go for a shot on goal. I think if Garnacho can really do any of those well in the game of Leeds that we're going to play on Sunday, no one will be having a problem with him. So, positive criticism is called for, because if you put on that jazz of Manchester United, people will always look at you. You get? You'll be a blue-eyed man. So you shouldn't really fail to see yourselves coming in through and doing the needful. Now I'm having John Manda. Thank you for watching in. I'm coming onto your question and I'm going to respond to it soon. Then Ten Hag on having to make more changes for games. He said it's not easy as you have to replace some players. The routines are not there, and this is obvious. We had the combination over the last few weeks on the right with Aaron Bissaka and Antony, and that just changed because both of the players got injured towards the game of Leeds, and obviously that affected our play onto that side, because it looks like Antony and Bissaka had really built up a very good relationship, and even the return of Dalot wouldn't have affected us if at all Antony was there, because Antony does a very good recovery role. And secondly, going forward, he's really a player that you would love to see doing the needful for the club of Manchester United. Then Ten Hag said, now there is a new combination. Now there is a new combination in the holding midfield position, as we have to bring in a new position as Eriksen is away. So the whole midfield construction is new, and that takes time to bed in and get the routines again. So, this is where you feel for the manager of Manchester United, because the only position is having a variety is the defense. Right back, Dalot, Bissaka. Left back, Luke Shaw, Malacia. Central defense, Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Harry Maguire, and Victor Lindelof. Even Luke Shaw can come in through and really play very well on the left side of the central defense. So he has like 5 or 6 options, because even Casemiro proved that he can play there. But when you look at the midfield, Eriksen gets injured. After him getting injured, you bring in Sabitzer. When you bring in Sabitzer and you know that Sabitzer is going to partner with Casemiro, Casemiro gets a red card. And now you're left with Freddie and Casemiro. Sorry, Freddie and Sabitzer, because even Scott McTominay is injured. So this is where it goes hard for the manager, and the combinations are really disturbing him because Sabitzer has just come to the club. You get Freddie is not that player that you can rely on every game because he always blows hot and cold. He can play some 3 good games and then play some other 4 wins really inconsistent. Now, I won't be surprised if at all Freddie pulls out a very good game and he gets himself on the groove when you're playing Leeds away. You get? But the game we played at Old Trafford, he played stinkers. Let's all admit, he played stinkers for the club of Manchester United. And I think no United fan would love to see Freddie play like that. But that is Freddie. And Sabitzer showed us how good he is, especially going forward. And he was the perfect backup or replacement for Eriksen when he got an injury. I just can't imagine Sabitzer and Casemiro playing together. And I think that's going to happen next Thursday when you're playing against Barcelona. But they are playing together for the first time. But with the experience they have, I know they're going to hold that pivot very, very well and tight. So let's wait and see what's going to happen in that game of Leeds. But the manager is really having terrible problems at the club because he is not really getting the best he deserves, especially from the board. You know that very well. After the board, he's also not finding himself in a position of having his players available. Injuries have turned into injuries. And obviously, it's not working well for him, but he's struggling through the season. Then he said, this takes games, and that was obvious yesterday. We played quite well, but both stats of each half against Leeds killed our game. So he's talking about how we started both halves. The first half, we concede a goal in the first minute. The second half, in just 3 minutes, we concede a second goal in the second half. So it shows you how bad we started off those games. And if I told you go ahead at Aaron Road and play like that, we are not getting a chance. We are not having a chance to win that game. But I believe Ten Hag is a manager who learns from the mistakes that the players are going to hate to do, and is going to rectify them and tell them we should keep tight at our back and we should find means of really playing against Leeds better. And I think he's going to make very good changes that might really help us really surprise Leeds, because Leeds are really going to come the same. Having gotten that point at Old Trafford, they believe that they're going to come at us at their stadium. They're really going to be having close to 40 fans around them, surrounding them, all behind them, roaring them, cheering them. But I believe we can throw the best at them that will not really see us lose a game. And obviously, I believe you're going to win that game of football. I've seen people saying it's going to be a draw. I know it's going to be a hard game, but we have all what it takes to win that game of football. And later, I think I'm closing the day with the match reaction, the match preview of Manchester United versus Leeds. And I think we're going to be having a better discussion onto that later as we really let ourselves into this. Now, he had the following to say about the Super League. The Super League. You know, the Super League is back. It's having a format. They're trying to have 80 teams together, and they're trying to build up certain things. And Ten Hag had the following to say about the Super League. He said, I'm not aware of the specifics regarding the new Super League concepts, as we are playing so many games at this moment and we have to develop this team with new players and we have some problems we bring in. So he's really complaining a little bit about the Super League because he doesn't know the reason as to why it's in. He doesn't know the reason as to why it's here. But Eric Ten Hag, allow me as Rock and David to let you know about why the Super League is here. It's because the Premier League is really overtaking the other leagues. Lots of money are injected in, and it's all about the selfishness of Real Madrid, Barcelona, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich in their respective leagues, because these teams never wanted to share their revenues with other teams. You get? If La Liga can share money with Barcelona, Real Madrid, and other teams. They can build a strong league like that of Manchester United, like that of the Premier League. But because they don't want that to happen, they want to be monopolies. That's why their leagues cannot even buy players expensively. But look at a team like Southampton or Nottingham. They can spend close to £200 million, a same budget like that of Barcelona. A team that is in the bottom half of the table can spend more than Barcelona. It can outspend Real Madrid. Southampton spent close to £100 million in the summer. You get? So those teams don't have that financial power to spend because the Premier League has overtaken them. And I think even if they go ahead and really do their Super League without Premier League teams, it won't work out. It will mean nothing. It will mean nothing and will die a natural death because it won't attract, it won't get the attraction that everyone is talking about. Because if you're not having Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City from the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur, you are going to do nothing. You are going to do nothing over that thing. And they need these other teams to thrive. If they don't have them, they won't thrive, not even for a second. So he concluded his press conference by saying the following, that I'm aware of the dynamic and what is going on, the evolution of football. If they are coming up with new ideas, I have to take a look at it and then I'll make an opinion. So this is what I like about Ten Hag. He doesn't want to commit himself and he has kept himself on the fence. So he's trying not to give out an opinion on what he thinks about the Super League. But he knows what it means because his bosses, now the Glazers, went ahead and really got themselves involved into this. And the fans came out and really rioted. Demonstrations were all over Old Trafford that even failed the game of United and Liverpool to take place. It was a Sunday. So he knows that the fans are not happy about the Super League, nowhere near accepting what the Super League is bringing to the Premier League, because they want to create another Super League. They want to create a strong league to break the Premier League, and teams in the Premier League know it, and they're earning a lot of money. And there is no money that you are going to give these teams that are really in the Premier League, because it's really good to be competing in the Premier League because the fans are always on tenterhooks, tension is high, but they want to. But if I told you go ahead and really say we want to see United playing Real Madrid this weekend, the other weekend United plays Barcelona, the other weekend plays Bayern Munich, I think it won't work out that way because they want to go ahead and take a fraction of the Premier League support and try to make their teams popular. Yet that's not a solution. I believe the solution, if I told our Perez, the president of this, I would go ahead and really tell the La Liga that, all right, we agree. Let's build something that is like the Premier League. Let's try to share the broadcast money, the money that comes in from broadcast rights with other teams that are in the La Liga. The same applies to Serie A, the same applies to Bundesliga, and so on and so forth. If they don't do that, they have no way of succeeding in that. But it's also a wake-up call to the UEFA Champions League and the Premier League that they should know that the Premier League can be making a lot of money and they should increase their charges. That, like, the win of the Premier League should be getting like £1 billion. That's it. Because teams are really thinking of going to the Super League because of money. United was going to earn United was going to earn 2.5 billion pounds every year or every season. So if a team is going to earn that because they are going to be owning their broadcasting rights, then it should be really thought of that how can these teams in the Premier League be given more money? How can the Champions League offer more money to these teams? Because the reason as to why they are going to the Super League or they want to go to the Super League is because they expect more money to come in and obviously do the needful. So that's it that Ten Hag said about the press conference, and concluded that by telling us about what we call the Premier League. Now, Nachitende Esther, thank you for coming in. And I'm having my man known as John Manda, I believe, to win this game on Sunday. I believe these days, if draw lose the next game, we always win. And I believe we are going to come up and really win that game of football. It's not going to be an easy one, but I also have it in mind that we are winning that game of football against Leeds away at Elland Road. That's it. And I buy your thoughts. Then Nachtende Esther, but Martial is another problem for Manchester United. That's it. That's it. He's a problem to us because when you're with him, we play better. If he's away, we suffer. You know, those games of Leeds, he's the best composed player up front. Now, if you're not having him, it costs the team. And he cannot play 90 minutes. It's another thing that is really distorting us. So the manager believes that he needs another striker, and that's why he is one of those players that we've seen very many correspondents of Manchester United for different media outlets linking him out of the club of Manchester United, meaning that he's going to be put into the shop window and sold such that we get in another striker at the club of Manchester United. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through Rock, and David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. As I'm returning back with Sabitzer story, United are really considering to sell him off. I'm having Nachtende says, but Manchester United should be careful. As I said last time, obviously it's going to be a hard game. It's not going to be an easy game. It's really going to be hard. But I believe Ten Hag is going to go with the perfect plan to execute it and get in points. Because this time around, I think we are going to be a little bit conservative. And I think the best explanation of this game and how Ten Hag is going to go ahead and be coming with triangles, combinations, sequences, and rhythms is going to best be brought out in the last video of the day. That's going to be my match preview of Leeds versus United as things go on to come up there. Because I think the best explanation will be, I think I'll throw it in that match preview, because I have very many weird thoughts about that game. And I think Ten Hag's really doing lots of permutations on how he should go ahead and really execute a win from that game, because he needs a win. There is nothing like a draw. We'd get 2 points out of 2 games against Leeds. That will be really absurd. It will be abysmal. We need to come out and really do the needful and call off all the fiascos that can arise from this game and focus on one thing. We just need a win. We need nothing else apart from a win. Then I'm having Patrick. Patrick says, we shall win, though may not be easy. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy game. Let's be real. It's not going to be an easy game. And the last time we went at Elland Road, it ended 4-2. Scored 2 in the first half. They came back, they scored 2. And obviously, we came back and scored 2 through Antony Elanga and a player called Freddie killed off the game. So guys, I sign out for now. See you later. I'm returning with the Sabitzer story. Stay tuned. And that's why you have to subscribe and keep your notification bells on. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I'm out.